So in today's video, we're going to talk about hormones. We're going to talk about menopause. We're going to talk about all the things. Just earlier today, I had my 3-month follow-up with my menopause specialist. This is a trained physician's assistant who works in a doctor's office who specializes in all things women, specifically menopause. So as you all know, I had a hysterectomy 3.5 years ago. I was put into surgical menopause. And since then, I have really struggled with hormone replacement, estrogen, like there's progesterone, there's testosterone, there's lots of things. And the day that I met with my menopause specialist, I filmed a video. Been exactly 13 weeks ago. I will put that video down in the description box. So if you want to watch that and get up to speed on what's going on, please do, because today's video is going to be about my follow-up. 3 weeks after my hysterectomy, of course, everything was taken out. Cervix, uterus, ovaries, fallopian tubes. I was put into surgical menopause because of the hysterectomy. I started taking estrogen. I used the estrogen patch, 0.035, I think it was, and the night sweat stopped. I felt, a little bit better. It was fine. But as the years went by, I could tell that, I don't know, just lots of things were happening. Loss of energy. I had lots of brain fog. Oh gosh, lots of brain fog. I was still sleeping good, but there was just loss of libido. I could tell my hair and my nails and my skin had just kind of lost its vibrancy. I was just I was getting through the day, honestly. I'm a morning person, so I wake up, I'm full of energy, I'm excited about the day, but pretty quickly I was tuckering out. I was running out of energy. So by dinner time, I was just barely getting through the day, right? So long story short, you can listen to all of my ailments and woes in that other video, but I found a menopause specialist in my hometown, had a meeting with her, did lab work, and I started on progesterone and testosterone and continued to take my existing estrogen. So it has now been 13 weeks since I have been all the things, and I want to tell you how it's going, what hormones I like, what hormones I don't like. And yes, there is a hormone that I actually stopped because I did not like the way it made me feel. And if my symptoms are better, worse, alleviated, completely gone, all the things. So let's just get into it. Plus, I have my lab results. So I told you that I went to see her because of, the long list of things. Because I am in surgical menopause, there was just the assumption that I had no hormones. So I did lab work at my appointment with her 3 months ago, but there was no point in me, getting results because number one, I wasn't going to understand them. And number two, I basically had no hormones. So last week, which was week 12, I went in and had lab work again so that we were able to compare my original kind of baseline labs to now labs after being on things for 12 weeks. So I went in today. She said, "How's it going?" And I said, "Well, I don't even have words. I feel amazing." And she's like, "Okay, break it down. Tell me what's going on." So throughout this 12-week journey, I just kind of kept a journal of how I felt, any changes I noticed, anything. I just jotted them down so that I could look back because, I knew I wouldn't remember all the things. So I'm actually now taking 0.05 milligrams of estrogen. I use a patch that I put on my hip. I change it out 2 times a week. And I've actually been on that dose for almost a year now. The menopause specialist added 100 milligrams of progesterone to my daily regimen. I take that at nighttime. And 100 milligrams of testosterone. So let's just talk about these separately. I started the progesterone and the testosterone at the same time. And right away, within a day or two, I did not like the way I was feeling. So the progesterone is a pill. Like I said, I take it at nighttime, and the testosterone comes in different forms. Well, I had asked for it in a troche. It's a little greasy little capsule that you get at a compound pharmacy, and you put it underneath your tongue, and it dissolves into your bloodstream. I misunderstood. I thought that it would dissolve in just a couple seconds, or was I wrong? It dissolves in 12 to 15 minutes, and it tastes absolutely horrible. And after it's dissolved, you can't eat or drink anything for 30 minutes minimum. So I did that regimen for 2 weeks. Number one, hated the testosterone in the troche. So I called my doctor back and she changed the prescription. And now I get the testosterone in a cream. It's in a little tube. It clicks every time you roll it up. So I do 2 clicks every day and rub that cream on my inner thigh where the skin is super thin and it absorbs into your bloodstream. But back to what I was originally saying, once I started the progesterone and the progesterone had the opposite effect on me. I don't technically need progesterone because I don't have a uterus, and the main purpose of progesterone is to protect your uterus in menopause. So she told me, you can try to take it. It is really good for sleep. It helps level out your mood. If you don't like it, if you have bad side effects, you can stop taking it because technically I don't need it. So the progesterone made me feel, and it's hard to put feelings into words, but it made me feel like my head was in a dark cloud. It dampened everything about my personality, my mood, and even physically, I felt like I could not hold my head upright. I felt like my eyelids were heavy, like I couldn't look up, I couldn't lift my eyes. Absolutely hated that feeling. I'd wake up every morning and I was just in this hazy, dark fog that I could not get out of. So I took the progesterone for 2 weeks and I stopped. I could not live like that. So that is gone. And when I saw the doctor today, she's like, it's totally, totally fine. Some women love it, some women hate it. And if you don't need it and you don't like it, don't take it. So that is out. So that leaves me with testosterone. So when I went in and had my lab work, the original lab work, it showed that my testosterone level was at 14.5, which is basically zero. It's nothing. So I started this testosterone and took it 1 week, week 2, week 3, week 4, nothing. I felt nothing. There was absolutely no change in any of my symptoms. Week 5, I sat down to make my notes and I thought, you know, I have been pretty clear. My days with brain fog and confusion, there's been just not very many of those in the last week. So I kind of jotted that down. And as time went on, now advancing to week 13, my brain fog is completely 100% gone. It has been weeks, like 3 and 4 and 5 weeks, I've had no brain fog. None of that just kind of hazy, yucky head brain feeling. None of that going from one room to the other for a reason and then getting there and forgot why you went there. Like I am crystal clear. My brain is, it's just like the clarity is unbelievable. The energy level. I now wake up in the morning and I am just like a ray of sunshine and it stays consistent all day long. My energy level, my mood stays consistent. It never drops. And about 9 o'clock at night, I'm like, okay, I've got to somehow turn this down so that I can go to bed. I can get sleepy. And I sit on the couch with my husband. We'll watch a little TV show. We'll snuggle and then we go to bed. So I'm able to turn it off when I need to go to bed, but all day long, I am right here. My energy, I have so much more energy. It is steady, it is consistent, and I feel whole. I feel solid and stable, which is a feeling I never had before. And when I was explaining it to the doctor today, it's almost as if before the testosterone, I had nervous energy just kind of pulsating inside me, but that's all I knew. I just thought that was normal. Well, now that I'm on the testosterone, that nervous energy has settled. I don't feel it anymore. So I have this just settled, calm, solid even keeled internal feeling, and it feels so good. I wish I had known this years and years ago, because now looking back, I realized that about the age of 45, when I feel like my hormones were probably starting to fluctuate, that is when that nervous energy feeling started, and I didn't know what it was. Well, now I know, and it was the loss of testosterone. So did it help my hair and my nails and my skin? I mean, I really don't know. It is now summertime. I'm out in the sun, which of course makes me happy. Have a little bit of a suntan. I mean, maybe I do know that the first 3 or 4 weeks that I was taking the testosterone, I noticed when I was washing my hair in the shower, I was not losing any hair. Like no hair was coming out. And for me, being a curly haired girl in the shower, I would lose like a ton of hair and there was nothing in the drain. I've started to kind of lose more of it, kind of get back to my normal hair loss in the shower. But for the first month, I lost nothing, which was kind of weird. Something else super strange that happened once I was on the testosterone, I started noticing it about week 7. I was actually sitting in the car with my husband when it happened, and I just took a really deep, just a breath, and it just filled my belly. And when I exhaled, I just had this deep calmness, this fulfilled calmness about me. And I just thought, wow, like that is normally not what happens. When I would take a deep breath before, that breath would go in my lungs. It was always a shallow, like a, trying to get out the anxiety. But now it is a full, all the way into the body, deep breath, and it just settles me. So several times throughout the day, I just do that. My body just naturally and my belly fills up and I exhale and I'm just so calm and steady, and it's just amazing, and it's got to be the testosterone. Also about week 7, I guess, is when I started really noticing things. My libido kicked in. I started feeling it. So I get questions a lot. People ask me, sexual questions, and how is sex with your husband, and how is your libido? And people tell me they're not interested in having sex, and even though they love their husband, they don't want to be intimate. And I understand that, and I do want to address that, but that's private. I don't want to talk about private things between my husband and I, but I just want to say that the libido has kicked in. I want to be with my husband. I love my husband. I'm attracted to him. I'm sexually attracted to him, and it is fantastic. I'll just leave it at that. So at the end of my conversation with my doctor today, she said, so let's recap. Let's look back. She pulled up her notes from my original meeting with her 3 months ago, and all of the things that I said were bothering me and that I wanted to fix with hormone therapy, every single one of them has been checked off. The box has been checked. They are off the list. I feel freaking fantastic. So she said, I feel like all of your numbers, which we're going to go over here in a second, are great. She said, unless you have an issue that we need to try to fix or solve or change with changing the hormones, she said, I think you need to stay right there. Let's not change a thing. And I had already gone into the appointment with her and had decided myself that unless she told me I needed to do something different, I am one happy woman right here. I could not ask for anything more. I feel better now than I have in probably the past 10 years. No joke. Like, I am not exaggerating. I feel freaking amazing. Just everything about my body, my energy, my happiness, my mood, my marriage, my life, everything is incredible. And nothing externally has changed. It's all me. It is all my hormones, and I could not ask for anything more. So let's talk about the numbers. So my testosterone went from 14 before taking it to 92 now, which she said is amazing. She said around 150 is optimal. Getting up to the high, like 190s, close to 200 is too high. 150 to 100 is really like ideal. I'm at 92, but not really, it's not really so much what the numbers say, it is how I feel, and because I feel so fantastic, we're gonna leave it there. She said my estrogen, which was 41.8, she said is a little low. I definitely could bump up my estrogen, but we originally decided to not change my estrogen because we didn't want to add in all of these factors at once, so we left the estrogen alone. She says it's low, but I'm not having night sweats. I don't have mood swings. I sleep great. So right now, we're just going to leave it alone. The next step would be to bump up to the next level of estrogen, which, you know, I can always do. She said if I have any issues, just call her and we can always make all the changes. But because things are really, really good right now, I'm just going to leave them alone. There were some test results that she went over with me, and I don't know that I understand them enough to explain them to you, but she did a full blood panel and my hemoglobin, which testosterone can do something to your blood count. That's why they test your that's why they test your hemoglobin. Mine was at 15.2, which is absolutely fantastic. One of the main reasons I had a hysterectomy is because I had a fibroid and I was bleeding so profusely. My hemoglobin got down to a 4.1 and I had to have a blood transfusion. So for me to have a 15.2, that's amazing. So the menopause specialist, I do have to pay for her consultations and appointments out of pocket. I paid $100 today to meet with her. My lab work, I'm still unclear on whether my insurance is paying for this or not. I got a statement from the insurance saying they paid the majority of it. I owed a little bit, but when I went to see the doctor today, she said that I didn't owe anything. So I'm hoping that just sorted itself out. My testosterone, I do have to get from a compound pharmacy. Of course, that's not covered by insurance. I paid $45 for a month's supply. The progesterone, I don't even remember what it was because I'm not taking it. And my estrogen patch is $32 for a 90-day supply. I get that through my mail order pharmacy. So all is good. Things are looking up. I am 100%. So after I did my original video and told you all that I was going to go meet with a hormone and menopause specialist, a lot of you all reached out and said, who are you seeing? You live nearby, you live in Southern Illinois or Western Kentucky, and you want to go. So I will put the name of the specialist and the facility where she is down in the description box. So if you live in this area, you can go see her as well. But if you don't live nearby, I just highly recommend you search around. Look for functional medicine, menopause specialist, somebody who does this all the time and knows what they're talking about. My regular doctor, my family physician, even my hysterectomy surgeon, they didn't want to talk about hormones. They didn't want to help me. They didn't offer lab tests. So I had to go be an advocate for myself to get this figured out. So that's why I'm putting these videos out. I'm sharing my story to help other women to figure it out. So to sum it up, hormone replacement therapy for me, estrogen and testosterone have been game changers. See you later.